Chatters, chatties, welcome home for a Great American Chat, a podcast where we chat about great American media. I'm Chad Maurice. Cricket, what's up? How's your week going?
It's busy as always.
Busy as always.
Yes, a lot of things
And
going on this week.
and you said right before we logged on here, you got like a tornado warning going on right now.
Not yet, but we have a strong line of storms that could potentially make the tornado sirens go off. And if they do, county rescue will not be able to save me. Okay, I'm gonna have to run to my basement with my animals and my child. So just be prepared for anything. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, all right. Hey, what's going on? We're not on Facebook for some reason. Oh, yeah, this thing's acting funny tonight. Oh well. All right. Um, so Cricket and I had a chance last week to chat with the Busby, Cindy Busby, and Chris Russell, the Love Muscle, and they were here chatting about When Hope Calls, and that episode you can watch right now. It's on YouTube and your podcast apps. Now, Cricket, that was the first time that you met them. What did you think of those two?
Oh my gosh, they are so they're great. I love it. Cindy Busby has such an energy about her, and she really brings the whole conversation back around. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And just seeing that Facebook live the other night, she was such a great host.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was amazing. I thought she did great, but the two of them together just have such great chemistry, and they
Uh-huh.
just constantly like laugh and kind of pick at each other, and it's
Yeah.
just I love it. It's just wonderful. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, you can tell they have a good friendship.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
You can tell they've known each other for a long time because they almost finish each other's sentences, or they'll
Uh-huh.
say a comment and then they both laugh because they both know what they're thinking. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
really good. Really good.
So tonight we are chatting about the County Rescue, the second season finale.
Yeah.
So it was pretty exciting.
Yes, it was.
Cricket, to get us started, tell us the title of the episode.
I didn't look it up, child.
You didn't.
I can't believe I forgot that. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot it again. Oh my
That's funny.
gosh.
You
Well,
remember that?
next season, I definitely will make sure. Okay.
Next season, you're gonna make sure.
That's right. So they better have another season. So yeah,
No, this
I
one.
got a chance. I got to get a chance to redeem myself. See.
So this episode is titled "Out of the Ashes." It's
Okay.
yeah, out of the ashes, out of the ashes. I'm not sure what the ashes represent.
hmm I'm thinking
Not sure.
like the death of the. I mean, it could be a number of things. Like the final. We found out later what happened with the one character, but also the dying of the anger and the hatred that was going on in
Oh, okay.
the
It could
episode
be. Yeah,
before, and
yeah.
kind of saying, okay, that's gone. Let's kind of like a rebirth, I think, or something, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take on it.
All right. All right. It's directed by Matt Shapira and written by Laura Swickard. And we're gonna do something different tonight. Instead of me blabbing my gums all night and describing the scenes and what was going on, I asked Cricket if she wanted to do part of it. So she's going to do this first opening part, and I'm just going to sit back and relax.
So yeah, Chad, in this scene, we see Danny and Duke. She apologizes to Duke, accusing him of drinking in front of everyone. And she says, I should have came to you and talked to you privately. And he says, we never got to know each other, and you saw me at my worst. And they basically just kind of reintroduce themselves to each other, and they shake hands. And Danny says, hi, I'm Danny. I used to work here. And Duke says, I'm Duke. I just started. And so you kind of get this reintroduction of two characters now who are kind of getting a second chance to become friends.
All
So
right.
yeah, it was a good scene. Very good scene. So then after that, you see Danny. She has her uniform all folded up, nice and neatly, and she's placing it on Scotty's desk. And she she's touching it for like the one last time, and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
sentimental. She's got it all folded up, and kind of that's the last thing that she has to do before she kind of leaves. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought it was kind of funny when Duke says, "Hi, I'm Duke. I just started," even though he's worked there for years.
right.
Yeah.
I took that as, again, like a start over,
Yeah,
from
that's
him being
yeah.
in rehab
Right.
and going through what he had to do. I took that
Right.
as a start over. Hi,
Yeah,
Beth.
start over. Oh, is Beth here? Oh wait, I
Yeah,
gotta.
she said it's not showing on YouTube either, Chad.
It's not on YouTube?
Yeah,
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know. Thank you, Beth, for letting us know.
Oh, I wonder what's happening. It's not working right?
I don't know. You said it wasn't on Facebook either, right?
I wonder why it's not. Oh yeah, it says an error occurred. I'm trying to get it connected to Facebook. It says an error occurred on Facebook, and it's not on YouTube. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, that means I got to upload this thing to YouTube later. I don't like
Yeah,
doing
still
that.
nothing on YouTube, she says. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, we're having some technical
I
difficulties,
don't know
not
what.
sure why, but gotta love
Ah,
technology.
well, thanks for letting us know, Beth. I guess I'm gonna have to upload this thing to YouTube later, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. What? Oh, so this, I guess, them shaking hands. I guess this puts an end to Duke's drinking storyline. Must be.
I mean, maybe, but you don't know that for sure. I mean, he's giving a valiant effort to, hopefully not start drinking again, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I'm hopeful that this is the start of a new Duke in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So let's see here. So then the opening credits roll, and then Ashley talks to Scotty. They have a heated conversation. She apologizes for blurting out, "I'm leaving," in front of everyone and not telling him first in private. She tears up and tells him how much she respects him. She says how much she loves working for him. He says, "I thought you would have talked to me first. I could have maybe matched your salary." Yeah, Scotty's getting a little upset there. She says, "I was afraid you would convince me to stay before I made the decision myself." Scotty looks away and doesn't say anything. She says, "I will miss you too, Chief." Then she gives him a paper bag and says, "For the hard day." Then she leaves his office and he runs after her but stops himself. He sits down on the floor with the paper bag and pulls out a coffee and a donut. Gotta feel sorry for Scotty in this scene.
Yeah, he really wanted to run after her. Um, but he hesitated and stopped, and yeah.
Uh huh.
It would be tough to be, in his shoes, to have somebody there for so many years and started pretty much the whole, department, and then to have them just up and leave all of a sudden it would be rough. It would be very
Uh huh.
difficult.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah. Now, did you know what was going to be in the bag?
No, I figured it was food of some sort, but I didn't know for sure what.
Oh, in the last episode, remember when Andy was all upset because he saw that dead body?
Yes.
Scotty told him, "When I have a hard day, a coffee and a donut always helps."
Oh, okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I figured that's what was going to be in there.
Yeah, because she
Yeah.
said a hard day. Okay, that makes
Uh huh.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
catch that. I didn't catch that in that episode.
Uh huh. So um, he doesn't have enough money in the budget to hire Danny to keep her on, but he has enough to give Ashley a raise.
Right. I was wondering because I'm like, well, and then I thought, well, since he saw the mayor, maybe, since she created a whole new ambulance team, that maybe there was more money in the budget now. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
he didn't know that before that, I don't think.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah. So Tim runs into Danny in the park. I'm not sure if this was planned or impromptu. He says, "I can't believe I won't see you at the station anymore." She says, I will be okay. He says, God knows what he is doing. Something big is coming your way. Now, how many dogs does Tim have?
Right.
Did you did you notice all these leashes he's holding in his hand?
Yes, I did. I'm like, okay, is he a dog walker? I mean, I don't know. I didn't catch that, but yeah, I noticed that too. Or maybe it was
Yeah.
just folded up in his hand. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, either he has a dozen dogs or he's got some dog walking business on the side that we didn't know about.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
mean, and it's
100% true.
never explained.
No, it wasn't. Mm-mm.
Like, I was expecting Danny to say, "What are you doing with all those leashes?"
Right.
And he did. It's like, I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, I didn't either, honestly. And it's so funny because it was a little distracting too, like to see it. Because I'm like, wait a minute, what is he doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. They never mentioned in some previous episode about him and dogs, did they? That he had a lot of dogs
No,
or
I
did
don't
something
think
with
so.
dogs?
I
Yeah, I
don't
don't
think so. But
remember.
then I thought maybe that girl that he is interested in, because didn't he leave to go hang out with her? Like when
Oh,
she
I don't
said to
know.
go, she said, go and do whatever you got to do. And I don't know if I ever saw exactly what he was going to do,
Oh, I
other
don't
than all
know. It
those
doesn't.
leashes.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. Apparently, he's gonna go walk some dogs. Apparently, is what he's gonna do. So we get a voiceover from Danny, where she says again, "The Lord took her job away from her," which I disagree with. I think the Lord gave her Ashley's job, but she just turned it down. Is what I think.
Mm,
She says sometimes the Lord takes things away that you want badly, but in the end, you realize it was for the best.
hmm
While the voiceover is going on, we see a montage of the county rescue crew having fun, playing cards, and sharing a meal together.
hmm
Danny continues saying, You should trust the Lord. He will show you what path to take. All right, let me get. All right, Cricket, you're up next for this one.
Okay. So we see Liz and Scotty outside of the building. They're just both arriving. And Liz is telling him, hey, you have a special guest that's coming at 3 o'clock on Monday. And she asked him if he'll come out front and give them a special welcome. And then we see Danny and Ashley. They're meeting at the country club, sitting down, and Danny starts to apologize for getting mad at Ashley because Ashley didn't tell her about her new job right away. And then Ashley starts to apologize, and then I'm like, I didn't understand that either. I don't know why she's apologizing because I don't feel like she did anything wrong, like
Uh,
honestly.
yeah.
But then Danny finally says something that's reasonable about it. She says, "You should take the job because you want it, not because I will get a spot on the squad." And
Hmm.
so yeah, so they kind of have that little tender moment, and then Danny asks her about her wedding vow renewal, and Ashley says, "We didn't have much of a wedding the first time, so this time we would like to go all out and be fancy." And Danny says,
Hmm.
"Well, you could wear my wedding dress and use my caterer from my canceled wedding." And Ashley asked her to be her maid of honor, which I think I called that last week.
Oh, did you?
Um, I think so. I think I said I think she'll be her matron or maid of honor. And so then they're having this wonderful discussion and sharing these moments, and then Danny says to her, she says, can we say a nice prayer asking God to help Ashley with her decision?" Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So Danny's apologizing to everyone in this episode, which she should, considering how she acted in the last one.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
this this scene here between Danny and Ashley was a little confusing for me because they are talking like Ashley hasn't accepted the job yet, but she already did accept the job.
Yeah,
Because she said at the end of the last episode she accepted a new job and will be starting in a few months. She told everybody that.
yes, yes, she did.
So I think the scene should have been written like a little bit differently or something.
Well, no,
'Cause-
I think it's because she's having second thoughts.
Well, we don't know that yet. They
We don't
don't,
know it yet, but that's what it was kind of almost like a
and Danny
hint.
and Danny doesn't know that. Yeah,
Right.
Cat. I know. Cat in the chat is saying it isn't playing on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. I don't know. It won't. I don't know. I don't know why that's not. Something's going on with this website that I use to stream with. It's not connecting.
hmm
It didn't connect to YouTube or Facebook, so I'm gonna have to upload it to YouTube later. So Yeah, that was a little confusing there. Now,
Yeah.
when Liz was talking to Scotty, did you
Yes.
know that she was lying to him? Did you sense that she was lying to him, or did you think she really had a guess coming?
No, I really thought she had a guest coming.
Yeah, so did I. I didn't know what was going on there.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like, because there was another scene, I don't know if it was later, and we find out what she was talking about.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
His brother or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, and I don't know if that was before this scene or after that we learned that, but yeah, I thought, yeah, she's bringing somebody special. But honestly, my
Uh-huh.
thought was she was bringing Danny back.
Oh, really? Oh, is that what you
Yeah.
thought?
So at first I was like, oh, well, maybe she's going to bring Danny back and just surprise Scotty since he was upset about, Ashley leaving. And then, he
Uh-huh.
probably found her uniform and, you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? So that was my thought, and I was like, okay, well, it's not really like a special guest, but, she's been there before.
Uh-huh.
But I
Oh,
thought
hey.
maybe that's what she was referring to.
Oh, and speaking of Kat, we didn't think you'd be here tonight, Kat, because
Yeah.
we thought you'd be watching When Hope Calls on that PureFlix Premium. They're having some preview tonight on that if you have the premium
Hmm.
account. So we thought that's where you would be.
Hmm.
Oh, let's see. All right, I'll let you continue here.
So yeah, so then Liz and Marcos get paired up, and they up in the ambulance, and they go out on a call, and they go to a recording studio where there's a guy lying on the ground. The one a woman comes in and brings them in to assess him, and Marcos scans. This scene was like really cool because I
Yeah.
wish they would have had this when I was an EMT. And he scans the barcode on this guy's bracelet with his phone, and then it tells the app everything about his medical history and that he's a type 1 diabetic. Like that right there is awesome. I wish that we would have had that when I was an EMT because it would have made our life so much easier.
Yeah.
um,
Is this real? They really have this technology?
I mean, I don't know. I think it's possible. I do. I know that they have medical alert bands, so to
Yeah.
have like a QR code on it would not
Uh-huh.
be out of the ordinary to me. I think it's possible. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
for sure, but yeah, I think they could. I really think they could, and I know they have cards. I think they have cards that have it, and at one point, especially like military stuff, they were supposed to have medical records on your ID at one point so that you could scan it and see what your history was. So to me, I bet it's
Oh.
possible. It would not surprise me if they have this technology already.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
As Miley Cyrus would say, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed. I was like, that is
Yeah,
awesome. And then they
yeah.
they talk about the dextrose. I'm like, oh, I remember that. It's dextrose. The IV fluid is dextrose. They say
Oh,
D or
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
So I was like, oh
yeah.
yeah, and then it like prompted me to remember lactated ringers too, because that's another saline solution they have. But yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of
okay,
triggered memories.
okay. Now I gotta show. Let me blow this picture up a little bit more. You see this guy lying on the ground here? When they first showed him, I thought it was Griffin.
I did too.
Did you? He looks like him.
Yes,
He
it
looks
looks like
like him.
him. Yes.
Yeah,
I thought the same thing. I was like, what? Wait, what?
I know. I thought, wait, what's he doing at a recording studio?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, it was. I was like, wait a minute.
So Scotty is on the phone with the mayor's office again. This time he gets a meeting with her, and she is going to come to the station for a visit. And guess what? She is coming at 3 o'clock. So I guess it must be Monday now, because Liz still told Scotty that her guest would be arriving Monday at 3 o'clock. So I'm guessing that must
Yep.
have been Friday when she told him that. So now it must be Monday, I
Mhm.
assume. I was trying to follow what day of the week it was going
Right?
on all this. Oh, Kat says she thought it was Griffin too. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Where was I now? Okay. Liz and Marcos have a talk in the storage closet.
Hmm.
She says her parents used to own a gaming store and she was going to inherit it, but they had to close it when the video games all went online. She apologizes for crushing his dream. He says, I am living the dream every day, saving lives. He says, I will find another building someday for my gallery. Okay, so right at this point, I thought that Liz was going to give Marcos a building for his art gallery. I
Yeah,
thought,
I mean, yeah, the way she was kind of like talking about things and
yeah,
then she didn't.
yeah, I thought she was going to say, "Oh, well, I still own the building that my
Right.
parents, I inherited it from my parents where the
Right.
gaming store was. I want to give it to you." I thought that's what she was going to say.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's the way I thought it was going to. I
Yeah.
really did because I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know this side of her. Like, that's
Uh-huh.
never been said about that. Why didn't she mention this before to Marcos? Like that was my thought
Uh-huh.
too. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess now it is 3 o'clock. Time for Liz's special guest to show up and for Scotty's. The crew runs a wire along the ground to play a prank on Scotty. To their surprise, Scotty's special guest is the mayor. Scotty sets off the booby trap and feathers fall on him and the mayor. Marcos is recording it all on his phone for this video contest to win this coffee maker. The mayor acts like she is pissed at first, but then starts laughing and says, "I love it."
I know.
Scotty,
I was just like, oh man, they're all in so much trouble.
I know that's what I thought too. Yeah.
And
Um,
Scotty, I mean, his look was priceless. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so fired right now." Like that, I could just read that in his eyes. Like, I am so done. He couldn't
oh
even look
yeah.
at them because he knew. Oh man, I was so uncomfortable in that scene. Just imagining if that really happened.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Scotty wants to know how they knew about his paranophobia, I think is the way it's pronounced, which is the fear of feathers. Danny says it's all my fault. I found an old picture of you and your Navy buddies. So apparently, Scotty must have been tarred and feathered in this old picture or something of him in the Navy.
Yes, in the Navy. Yes,
Oh, Beth says in the chat that was a fun scene.
yes, it was. Yes,
Oh, Beth's talking about Marcos saying that sad that was a faulty carbon monoxide can crush a dream. Yeah, missing
yeah.
a carbon monoxide detector.
Hmm.
So there was no special guest for Liz. It was all she was just pulling Scotty's chain just to play a prank on him.
See, now I
What?
thought that his brother was coming because I thought Andy and Marcos was talking about it and that his brother was coming.
Whose brother?
Scotty's.
You thought Scotty's brother was coming?
Yeah.
What made
I
you
thought
think
it
that?
was a mix up that it was supposed to be somebody else. Because Andy and Marcos was talking about it.
Yeah, in the
And then
kitchen.
in the
But they
kitchen,
said,
right.
but Andy said to Marcos, "Who does he think is coming?" And Marcos
Right.
said, "I don't know."
Right. Because I don't even think they knew. I mean, I thought they thought it was his. I don't know where I got the brother from.
I don't know where
I'm
you
just
got.
telling you, I thought it was the brother. Okay, now I feel like I'm losing my mind, but I know I'm not. I swear I thought it was the brother coming.
I don't know why you
Because
thought
they're
that.
because then when the mayor walked up, they're like, "Who's this?" Kind of like looking at her like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, they were all well. That's because they didn't know. They thought no one was coming. They thought no one was coming
Yeah, see, I
because
don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I swear I thought
no,
the
they
mayor
didn't.
was coming.
No, they just told Liz to tell Scotty that,
Oh,
but
okay.
they knew no one was coming. That they did that just to get him out front.
Okay. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I am losing my mind a little bit
yeah.
then. Okay.
So when I saw the feathers fall all over the mayor, I thought, "Uh-oh, well, there goes Danny's chances of staying on because the mayor's not going to
Right.
give Scotty any more money now." I thought it was all
Right.
over at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Now, how believable did you think this was? Do you think a politician would actually act like that and actually laugh about getting feathers dumped all over him
I
in a nice
mean,
suit like she had on?
um, I think it would depend on how long she's been doing it and if she's had a good time doing it. Because if she's not been having a good time being mayor, she's not going to like this at all. Yeah. I mean, I think some people could have been like definitely taken it to the extreme on the opposite spectrum for sure. I mean, she
Uh-huh.
could have been like really mad and been like, "What
Yeah.
kind of establishment are you running here?"
Yeah. Been like I
You
might. Oh,
know?
Beth says she thinks that could happen. Oh, okay. All right. Got to find a politician with a good sense of humor. I don't know if there's any
Right?
out there.
Right?
All right, Cricket, I'm gonna let you take this one.
All right, so we see Ashley and Danny sitting outside, and Ashley asks Danny how she's doing, and she says, "I'm fine. I have to let go of my plan, and I'm trusting God with His." And so I think when Danny says this, it makes Ashley kind of reconsider her job offer.
I think it
Um,
does too. You could see the wheels spinning in Ashley's eyes
yeah,
when
yeah,
Danny
and
says, I give up on this job. I'm gonna trust God and go look elsewhere." I think this is when Ashley started uh
yes,
um what do I want to say? Started having second thoughts about
thoughts,
taking this
yeah.
job. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I think a lot of the scenes though were leading up to this as well because she could just see everybody, especially Andy and Ashley looking at Danny and seeing the things that she's going through. And I mean, she'd been there for so long. I mean, it would not be easy to just try to, get up and leave.
Uh-huh.
There's no way. No matter how great the position is, you would still think, do I really want to do this?
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Beth says what she's saying. I don't think Ashley really wanted to take the job. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah.
I think it's like a new toy, it's really shiny at first, it looks good, you want to play with it, but then you're like, it's just a toy,
Yeah, but
I got plenty of toys.
she was telling Danny how the money could really help them out.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
money's not everything, Chad.
Oh, sure it is. When you have bills that you need to pay, it is.
Well, yeah, true, true. Ah. All right, so the next scene we have Marcos. He's holding this box, and at first I'm like, "What's in this box?" Because I didn't know at first what he was going to be giving. I thought it was a wedding present or something at
Oh
first.
yeah, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
then
right.
then he starts talking, and we find out that it is the present of the coffee maker that he
Mhm.
won because of the video with the mayor,
Right.
because of the prank they played on Scotty and the mayor. So he ended up winning the contest, and he shows it off to everybody. He opens the box, and they are not impressed because it's smaller than they thought it would be. Now when they're showing this box, right,
Well, yeah.
he had to have like tipped it down for them to be looking at it like that. But then when the scene comes back, the box is still upright. So I'm like, how did they look in the box if the box is still upright? But they're all
Oh yeah,
looking
I
at
see
it.
what you're
You know what I
saying. I see
mean?
what you're saying. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I know they had to do that to get everybody's expression, but I just thought
Right.
that was interesting. So
Right.
and then I love the part because Scotty takes out the cup and
Yeah, I was gonna
it looks
mention that.
so little, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I that's an espresso or something, or just a shot. Like that isn't even a
Uh-huh.
real cup of coffee. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think
Scotty,
Marcos is a little bit upset.
yeah, Scotty said something like his fishing lures, the
Yes,
container that he
yes,
carries his fishing lures in is bigger than this or something like that.
yes, yes.
Oh, Misty's
Exactly
here.
right.
Hi, Misty.
Hi, Misty.
She's late to the party, but she made it.
That's all right. Better late than never.
Oh, so now we're getting to the good scenes here.
Yeah.
Duke allures Andy and Ashley outside by making them think food is going to be delivered. But out in the yard, there's a romantic wedding venue set up for them. Everyone gets emotional. Scotty tells Ashley she is always welcome at the station. They hug. They have a suit for Andy and a wedding dress for Ashley. Marcos's wife is there. Tim's girl is there. Tamara and her father are there. Andy and Ashley exchange vows and say nice things about each other. Now, I have to ask you, I haven't been to a wedding in several years.
Hmm.
Do all people exchange vows at their weddings
I
now?
don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think it's not every wedding,
Some
right?
some people do because they like to write their own vows.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I think the majority of the vows are done by the minister or whatever when they're doing
Uh-huh.
the service. But
Yeah.
yeah, some people do
Yeah, some
like
people.
saying wedding vows. Hmm.
Uh-huh. Oh, Misty says this part was sweet. She liked that Tim's girlfriend was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I remember when I was a kid years ago when I went to weddings, I think just the preacher like did most of the talking. He would
Yes.
say He would say, "Do you take so and so? Do you take so and so? I now pronounce you man and
Mhm.
wife. You're now lock lips. You're married." That kind of thing. I don't.
Chad.
I think this wedding vow exchange is something like kind of new in the last like 20 years or so, where people started doing this.
Maybe, yeah. But
Yeah.
typically, like Beth said, she said, no, my son just got married and the priest had them repeat the vows. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
better
Oh,
for
okay.
worse, sicker and poorer. I think those are
Yeah,
the
yeah. Those are the
generalized
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Those vows I'm familiar with. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Some
But
people
yeah.
do write their own.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you notice that there was no preacher officiating the ceremony?
Um,
There wasn't.
Now that you say that, no, I
Yeah,
was so lost in the moment, I didn't even
yeah.
realize that.
They just went up and then said their vows, and that was it. I thought I thought maybe Scotty would officiate.
Why did I not notice that?
Yeah.
I was totally in the moment of that because I just thought it was so touching that they would do it there at the
Whoops.
station.
Yeah, because if you look in the background of this picture, there's nobody behind them. They're just sitting there doing their vows, but there's nobody standing behind them.
Well,
You
maybe
know?
that's supposed to be implied. Maybe the minister's in front of them and we just can't see him.
I don't think so. I don't think they had one.
Oh, Beth said they didn't need a pastor since they already
Yeah,
married.
yeah,
Okay,
Beth. Yeah, they
okay.
were already married, but
That's
still,
true. Some
I
people
want.
do it though with a minister or a
Yeah,
priest.
yeah. I went to a wedding where
Hmm.
people renewed their vows, and
Hmm.
yeah, they had a preacher there
Yeah.
doing it with them. Yeah,
So, but that's really cool though. I love that scene though. That was very sweet.
yeah. So no one got to pronounce them man and wife. Wife, they just did it themselves. Oh yeah, Misty says renewing your wedding vows a real reaffirmation for your love for each other. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep. All right, Cricket. Now
All
we're.
right. Well, now we see Liz and Marcos. They're inside the station, and Liz has a surprise for Marcos, and she tells him, cover your eyes up. I got a surprise for you. And she walks him over to the corner of, I think that's like their like entertainment area where they sit down and play cards
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Yeah,
And in
yeah.
the corner, she's got all of this set up, and it's like a little art studio. And I think she's got a couple of his pieces of art on the wall there, and she's got
Oh
the
yeah.
drawing table, and then she's got the canvas with
Mm-hmm.
the stand in that. And she basically she says it's an artist easel, a drawing board, and other stuff that Marcos is so touched by. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, you did all this for me. And then he asked her for a dance. And I just
Mm-hmm.
thought it was very sweet. I don't know, I was thinking they were almost gonna kiss in this scene.
Oh, did you? Did you?
Yeah, I did, but they didn't. Because I thought that was such a sweet gift for her to do for him. And so that he doesn't give up on his dream of one day having an art studio again. And I just thought it was very sweet of her to do that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Misty says she basically made him a studio with a gallery. Oh, and
Hmm.
Beth.
Yeah,
Beth says that Liz's heart grew 3 sizes larger this season.
that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make up for losing an entire building, but it's definitely a start.
Yeah, it's definitely a star for sure. And
Yeah.
I think Marcos, I think he's letting go of the hurt and hopefully not letting go of his dream though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So they go outside and we see Griffin and Danny sharing a dance. Tim and his girl are dancing. Andy and Ashley are having their first dance. And while Andy and Ashley are cutting the rug, Ashley drops a bomb and says she turned down the job offer.
Right.
Whoa. Now I was completely floored when she said that. I was not expecting this, to be
Hmm.
honest. This really came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. And then I looked directly at Andy's face or Ash I'm getting all the names wrong. Danny's face
Yeah.
because I'm like, if she's staying, that means Danny really doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Because the Scotty hasn't told everybody yet.
I was gonna talk about that. Yeah.
And I was
He,
like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, what is Danny thinking right now when she said that?
Yeah,
Like,
Ashley at this point, Ashley doesn't know
no.
that the mayor called Scotty or anything. She doesn't
Nope.
so she's staying and take like kind of
taking
like
her position back.
taking a job
Yeah.
away from Danny, really, because
Yeah. Taking it back. Yeah.
even though Danny didn't want the job, she could have had it, you know.
Right.
So if Ashley stays, that like closes the door on Danny's opportunity to get this
It
job.
does, but I
Yeah.
think Danny doesn't get upset, or they don't show her getting upset
Uh
because her
huh.
and Ashley had already talked about it, and
Yeah.
Danny had said, I'm letting it go.
Yeah. Danny said, yeah, she wasn't
So,
interested.
but I'm sorry, if I would have heard that, I would have been like, wow.
I thought the
Wow,
same
okay.
thing.
I'd be happy for her, but I'd have to gather my thoughts for a
Uh
moment.
huh.
You know what I mean? Because that was
Uh huh.
such a yeah, it was unexpected for sure.
Yeah. 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 That just blew me away. I got to check the chat here. Um. Wait, what is Beth saying? Beth has said in the chat, I it's so sad. I think they were for sure going to pair Danny and Griffin. Yeah, I think they were too. Yeah. Misty says, told you there would be there would be
Yeah.
excitement at the wedding. Oh, Misty thinks Ashley did Danny dirty. Oh, yeah. Oh, Beth says that she thought this ending was predictable.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Well,
I
I
didn't.
told you last week, maybe, right? Didn't we talk about this?
What about which? About what part?
About there would be a wedding?
Oh yeah, we talked about. We said that there might be it might end with a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
Yep.
talked about that. Yeah, but I wasn't as far as predicting Ashley would turn down the job. I wasn't. I didn't predict that. I didn't think that
No,
was
I
going
didn't
to happen.
predict that either. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So Duke and his wife. I'll put the pictures back up so they're bigger. Duke and his wife share a dance, and they are talking about having another kid. I think. At least I think
Yes.
that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Because Duke says, I think we should have another. And I hope he's talking about a kid and not a drink.
Right. Right. I'm pretty sure Chatty's talking about another kid, another
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's Misty saying? Then you worry about. Oh wait. Oh yeah. I'm gonna talk about that later. Misty says, then you worry about the neat tied up ending, which means no third season possibly. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Misty. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Scotty starts to ask Tamara to dance, but notices she is cold and goes inside to get his jacket for her. While inside, he gets a voice message from the mayor telling him his team won her over. She loves a team that knows how to have fun. She tells Scotty she agrees with him that the station needs another ambulance and another EMT.
Yep.
This was something else I kind of wasn't expecting. I didn't even think of that about that. That somehow money would miraculously appear in the budget, to keep Danny
Right.
on. I wasn't
Right.
expecting that. Scotty also sees a gift that Duke left for him. Scotty has Tamara take a picture of the EMS team. Ashley walks out of the picture, but Andy says, hey, get in here. You're part of the team. And Scotty says, what's going on? Ashley tells him she ain't going nowhere. While posing for the picture, they get a call, and the episode ends with one final voiceover from Danny saying, not all rescuers wear uniforms. Anyone who lifts us up when we need it most is a rescuer, and the ones we choose to call family. Then we see the gift that Duke left Scotty hanging on Scotty's door that says, be strong, keep your cool, serve well. Yeah,
Yep.
this was a great ending. I like these final
Yeah.
scenes here.
Well, you forgot
Yeah.
too that Scotty
What?
tells Danny that her position's open if she wants it.
Oh yeah, yeah. He told her. Yeah, yeah. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
He says
yeah,
we
that
got
was a
ambulance 11's going to be here in 3 weeks, and you're in the driver's seat if you want it, or something like that.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, driver's seat's all yours. He said.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because in the ambulance team, the driver's called evac driver. They're not called the EMT.
Oh, they're called EVOC. What's that stand
Evac.
for?
I don't know.
Oh,
Emergency, I don't know, something
vehicle,
vehicle.
emergency vehicle,
I don't know, but we used to
operation camping.
operational I don't know.
Champion, commander. There you go.
Yeah, commander. But yeah, that's what we used to call them, evoc drivers. That's what they were called. And then we had the evoc drivers, who some were EMTs as well, but the majority of the
Hmm.
ones I worked with were just the driver, and they assisted the EMT.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so I thought that was interesting. But he could
Hmm.
be referring to the EMT's driver's seat, not the literal driver's seat.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
So
Beth says, Misty, if there is a season 3, there should be a focus group. What's Cat
Beth, I
saying?
volunteer you to be the leader.
Cat says they probably did that on purpose, Misty, just in case they don't get picked up for season 3. Oh, wrapped everything up.
Mhm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So now it gets real emotional. So the wedding was pretty emotional, but now it gets
Yes.
real emotional here.
Yes.
The episode ends with a montage dedicated to Keller Fornes, who unfortunately passed away unexpectedly in December.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love how they ended the episode with a shot
Yes.
of him going through this door and turning
Yes.
and looking back and smiling. Because I
Yes.
don't know how you took it, but to me, this signified him like leaving this world and passing through a door, not knowing what's on the other side, and kind of,
Yes.
but looking back and smiling and saying,
Mhm.
it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I
the
feel
way I
like,
took that.
oh yeah, and whoever did this montage and found that clip,
Uh huh.
that was the perfect clip
Yeah,
to end it.
yeah, that was the perfect ending. Yeah, yeah, it
It
was.
was so good. I mean,
Uh huh.
eh, to be able to have that shot, let alone, have other, shots of him during, the episodes, but to have that one particular scene and be able to put that at the end of it,
Uh huh.
I was bawling, I was
Oh
crying. I was
yeah.
like, "Oh my God." It
Oh
was
yeah.
so emotional, and just
Uh huh.
watching the scenes from, the
Oh
beginning of the
yeah.
first season with
Yep.
him and Danny, and just all those things, and when he's brought the donuts, and
Uh huh.
all those different scenes, it was very emotional. It
Uh-huh.
really
And
was.
you could see his personality changing from each
Yes.
compared the way it was in the first season to the way it is this season.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
demeanor, and even though it was just a clip, you definitely could feel that. I know exactly what you mean, Chad. I felt that too, and saw that, on his facial features when they were doing the scenes.
Uh-huh. Oh, Kat says she cried. Yeah, difficult and sad, but so honoring. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they did that at the end. So, that's it. Season
Yeah.
6 or season 6, season
There
2.
you go. Manifestation, Chad. I love it.
Season 2.
Manifestation.
I was thinking 6 episodes.
Right?
Season 2 is in the books. That was the finale. What do you think
Yeah.
of this episode and the season overall?
I mean, it was when I first started watching it, I knew it was going to be difficult when we got to the end because we knew what happened. And so I tried not to think about that as I watched each episode. Um, but I think overall, I think this season was better than the first season. I really do.
Let me
I
think.
feel
Yeah,
like,
I think it was. Yeah, I
yeah,
have to agree with you.
I feel
Yeah.
like the characters evolved more
Uh-huh.
into their
Yeah.
role.
Right.
Um, and I feel like they kind of just blended better. And I
Uh-huh.
think even the storylines, even though we were missing some things here and there in some of the episodes,
Uh-huh.
I feel like it flowed better,
Yeah.
to each
Yeah.
episode. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the ending was the wedding, and again, I feel like they had to do the wedding because, a lot of times you hear about like the birth and rebirth and the death and whatever. I feel like, they had the wedding to kind of be reborn again, and then, he died. And so
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's a big part of life that we all deal with, and I feel like that's kind of how they kind of what is the word, intersected it into the scenes in that last scene to kind of, make us think about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, Misty's saying she really liked Griffin's character this season.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did I. So did I. I loved all the scenes that he was in with Tamra and
Mhm.
Tamra's father. I
Yeah,
thought those scenes were really good.
they were.
So yeah, this was a really nice episode. and I like how it wrapped up the storylines that were introduced in other episodes.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
like they introduced some things, and then we were wondering what's that have to do with it? What's going on there?
Mhm.
I think, but then they like didn't answer the questions we had like in the next episode,
Right.
but eventually they got around to doing it. So that's one
Yes.
thing that I liked about this season and this show in general is that,
Hmm.
like I said, throughout the season we got all these things we were wondering, and the
Yes.
storylines eventually got explained. They didn't leave you hanging. Like,
Right.
for example, the prank on Scotty, like that was in the second episode. They talked about pulling a prank on Scotty. And remember, they had
Yes.
this box outside
Yes.
on this
Yes.
picnic table, but they never
Yes.
said what was in the box. And
No.
we're like, the next episode, we're like, what happened to the prank on Scotty? They never said
Right.
what it was
Right.
going to be. They didn't do it. It's like, it kind of left us hanging. But then in this episode, there it was.
Yes.
We saw
There it
that
was. We
that
saw the
box is full of
box.
feathers. Yeah. And
Yep.
then we got to see the prank. So I
Yes.
thought that was really good that they came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think also like with Scotty and Tamara, they kind of wrap that up again too. Like, because
Yeah.
Griffin and her had that
Yeah. Had
conversation
that
about,
conversation. Yeah.
that she likes Scotty. And so at the
Uh-huh.
end, they kind
At
of
the
tied that
end,
together
Scotty,
too.
yes, that's true. Scotty was
Hmm.
going to ask her to dance. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. I think they did. I think a lot of the editing happened and it did throw us off, but I agree with you. I think, the parts of each episode that we were kind of scratching our heads on, we didn't understand, but I think at the last couple episodes I think kind of tied everything in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um so yeah, I
Yeah.
really like this season. Yeah.
Because a lot of shows don't do that. A lot of shows will introduce storylines and stuff that you don't
Mhm.
understand, and they never answer what's going on. Like Lost is one example of that. They
Oh
introduced
my
so much
gosh.
weird stuff in
Yeah.
that show, and I mean, the viewers were
Yeah.
completely
I
lost.
was lost. Yeah.
Nothing ever got answered. You know what I mean?
No, I was completely lost on that. And then I found out later like it has some religious something to it. I'm like, "What?"
Oh,
I'm
it
like,
did.
Supposedly, I don't know. Like I still don't know because it was so long of a series. I never went
uh,
back and watched all of it to
yeah,
see again if I could pick
yeah,
up on some of this stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But
And
yeah.
another example is the hummingbird thing. Like they
Yes.
mentioned this hummingbird, and Tim called Danny a hummingbird, and they're like, "What?" We were like, "What's going on with a hummingbird?" But then an episode or two, I think the
Yes.
next episode, they told you the meaning behind the hummingbird. So
Yes.
yeah, that was
Yes.
good. That was good. And all of
Yeah.
Scotty's phone calls, we were wondering the
Yep.
whole season who Scotty was calling all this time, and
Yes.
eventually
Yes.
we found out he was calling the mayor, is who he was
Yep.
trying to get a hold of and
Yep. And
have a
then
meeting with.
Ashley and her secrets with Andy and
Mm-hmm.
not knowing exactly what that was about, and then we
Mm-hmm.
found out about that as well.
Yeah, the
So
letter
yeah.
that she had, yeah, all that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the only thing that we're left wondering though is why Tim had all those dog leashes.
Right. Well, and if he's going to actually like start dating that girl, the 911 dispatcher.
Well, they looked like they were pretty friendly there at the
Yeah.
wedding. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So she's probably going to help him with those leases, Chad. They can walk their dogs together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wonder if she has any dogs. Now, the other thing that I love about this show, I love the underlining double meaning of the word rescuer, because rescuer refers both to a medical rescuer
Mm-hmm.
and a emotional and support rescuer,
Yes.
and that's what I really like. This type of rescuer where you're there for people when they need you.
Yes.
You know,
Absolutely.
so the title of the show, County Rescuer, really has two meanings. They're talking about a medical rescuer, but they're
Hmm.
also talking about being there for everyone
Yes.
in this family, and being there emotionally for everyone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rescuing each other. So
Yes.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool, especially
Yeah.
to see that many people be able to come together, and get along so well, and not get along so well at times, as we saw in the one
Hmm.
episode, but be
Hmm.
able to say at the end of the day, we are a family and we will always be here for each other, and
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think that's a wonderful support to have.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And like people said earlier, I have a feeling while I was watching this episode and when it ended, I had a feeling that this was it, that there may not be a third season. because
Oh, yeah.
this felt like a series finale rather than a season finale, didn't it to you?
No, I didn't get that at all.
You didn't get that at all. That's what it felt like to
Mhm.
me.
No, I felt like it just tied up all the loose ends and they're going to start fresh with season 3.
Oh, I
So
thought
that's my
maybe
prediction.
I
No, they
thought
can't get rid of it. There's too much going on now. We got to
I
see Danny back in her
I got
uniform.
I got the feeling that maybe this might be it because like Danny got the job on the squad and Tim's on the squad and it's like Ashley's still there and everyone's happy and
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a feeling I got.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, but honestly, when I watched it, I didn't get that feeling.
Okay. Okay.
I think I was too engrossed in the emotional aspect of the wedding and then the tribute at the end, and
Uh-huh.
maybe that was distracting me a little bit of thinking that
Uh-huh.
maybe. But no,
Yeah.
even after it was all said and done, I'm like, they can't stop it. They got to continue. I mean, they just do. They got to have a
Yeah.
season 3. So
Yeah. And plus they lost a cast member, you know.
yes,
And
yeah,
speaking of the Griffin there, I thought one thing that was going to happen on this season, I thought Griffin might get back on the squad. And the reason I thought
yeah,
that was because in the first episode, Scotty said, I think he was talking to Danny, and he said, I wish I could have hired all three of you. And
yes,
that triggered
yes,
something in my head that I thought, oh, this season they're all going to get back on the squad. That's what I was
right,
thinking was going to happen.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
didn't, but that's what I thought.
Yeah. It's kind of misleading, but at the same time, um yeah, yeah. It was a really good episode though. I really enjoyed it. I did.
Oh, Beth's like you. She didn't get that feeling. She thought it was just a season finale and not a series finale.
Yeah. I
Okay.
I honestly I normally I get the feeling when I'm watching these shows that
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh man, you can and usually I get that feeling, but honestly, I not one time did I think that at all.
Okay. Well, like someone said earlier in the chat, maybe they just wrapped up everything and made it look like this,
Yeah,
just in case they don't get
just in
renewed.
case.
Because
Yeah.
if they don't get renewed, this was a great ending. You know, if this
Oh,
is it, this was a great
absolutely.
ending. Yeah.
Absolutely. It could go either way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree, Chad. Either way.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, When Hope Calls premieres tomorrow on Great American Pure Flix and Sunday night on Great American Family. And like I mentioned before, the chat that Cricket and I did with Cindy Busby and Christopher Russell is out now on YouTube and podcast apps. And Cricket has agreed to stay on and help me recap the episodes of When Hope Calls.
Woohoo!
And
It's gonna be fun.
we may have some special guests joining us, so that'll be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
And
really, really fun.
and I'm thinking I got to get some feedback from people who are here in the
Yeah.
chat still. I got to get some feedback. I'm thinking about doing on Friday, I'm thinking about doing a season 1 recap of When Hope Calls, just to kind of get people caught up and refresh people's memory on who the
Hmm.
characters are and what the stories were. Um, so that's what I'm thinking about doing. I've been working on it the past couple days, but if I do it, it's going to be kind of disorganized and kind of just thrown together. Um, uh, oh, Kat already watched it. Oh, Kat already saw she already saw it because they did that PureFlix Premium uh,
Yeah.
preview tonight. So she already saw the first episode. She said it was good. Oh, okay. All right, that's good. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing on Friday is getting together and doing that.
Yep.
For people who haven't seen the first season or maybe saw the first season years ago and can't remember like everything that
Hmm.
happened. So if I can get my notes together, I will do that. We'll do that Friday night.
Yeah.
But if we don't do that Friday night, then I'll definitely see you next week
Yep.
for the recap of the first episode of this new season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exciting.
It
So
is
exciting.
exciting. Yeah, it should be fun. Yeah. And hopefully we'll see you chatters either and hopefuls either Friday night or next week. Until then, you keep the faith, keep smiling, keep your friends close, and keep your great American family closer. Bye. Thanks everyone for being here in the chat. Oh, wait,
Thank you.
one
Thank
last
you.
thing. Oh, wait, one last thing. Oh, what? I got to see what Kat says. Oh, that would be great. I just binge watched the first season over the weekend. Oh, you did? And also the Christmas movie. Okay, okay. Well, I may do the recap. Well, you can join us and give your take on everything, Kat.
Yep. Sounds
Thanks, everybody.
good.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.